We are live. Okay, guys, we're back again for another live Q&A session. I'm Liam99, a community manager at Conquer Studios for Oceans at War. And as you all know, that's an upcoming MMO RTS. And unfortunately, Steve couldn't make it tonight. He's very busy with working on Oceans at War and some of the in-game stuff. So instead, I've brought along a couple of staff members from Conquer, and they're going to introduce themselves to you. To my left, I don't know if it's to your left on screen, I have Carter. Carter, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Carter Luman. I'm the Director of Operations for Conca. My outward-facing function, I guess, for everybody here would be support. If you fill out a ticket, it's going to come to my staff. We're going to respond quickly and efficiently.
Nice. And on the far left there, to my left, is Jez.
Hi guys, my name is Jez Veitch. I'm the Director of Player Relations at Conquer Studios. I basically look after all the moderators, the CMs such as Liam, and a few of us around. Obviously, I'm in charge of all the customer service side of things, you know, which you see straight away when joining the forums or the MMO page.
And guys, as last week we did discuss about showing a video tonight of some live in-game footage. Now, as much as we wanted to show you that video tonight, we did have something prepared, but we're not happy with it, and we're not going to show a video of an unfinished product. We have got the video coming. We've got a forum change coming next week, and we're going to try and tie in the video with the forum change, and we're probably going to do like a midweek Q&A session where we'll be showing that video. So at this stage, that video is not ready, and we're just not happy with showing you an unfinished product. So we're not going to be showing any game footage tonight, unfortunately, guys. So hello to everyone in the chat, and thanks for coming out again. I see we've got 50 viewers already, so it's great to see you getting involved and coming out for this. We could roll straight into some Q&A, guys. Do you feel like you want to talk about the game at all, or go into any aspects of that?
Well, in general, I think it's been a very productive week for Conca. We have accomplished quite a bit. A lot of assets have been rendered. We've shared quite a few of those on the page, actually. And the feedback on it has been absolutely tremendous from the user community. And we really appreciate that. As Liam said, we had really hoped to have some type of gameplay video available for you this week, but like he said, things just aren't quite together yet. You know, obviously we're working towards our alpha stage, and we're not there. There are still things that we're ironing out, but they are coming together very quickly. So we do apologize for not having the video, but at the same time, I've been very excited, as I'm sure Jez would agree, about the progress that we've made this week alone.
Yeah, I mean, we've been quite fortunate this week. We've actually signed a couple of big names in the gaming community to Conquer Studios. I mean, I won't go into details because I know there's a sort of security issue around it, but they are massive. And it will hopefully take Conquer Studios not just from a small game, which we are at the moment, because quite honestly, we are a small company. It's our first game, and we're looking to sort of, you know, cross right over and get as big as possible, as quickly as possible. And I think the people we have at the moment and bringing in constantly is only going to help us and benefit us in the long run.
Mm-hmm. And I remember Steve was talking to me before the show, and one of the guys that's coming in actually worked directly on Command & Conquer series, which is a great asset to the team. And as we all know, I mean, those RTS games is probably what shaped most of the games we're playing today. So yeah, it's good stuff and good progress, and I cannot wait to bring you guys the video. But we're not going to bring you guys the video when we're not happy with it. So I do apologize about that. So I'm happy just to start rolling into some Q&A. You know, unless you guys want to cover anything else, I'm happy to get on the. I've got the Twitch chat open, so you guys can feel free to start posting some questions. And between the three of us, we'll do our best to answer them.
Well, let's set the stage. Jez is here to answer pretty much any gameplay or that type of question that you might have. I'm here to answer any type support question that you might have. Obviously, we've all played games before, and you put in a ticket, and it might take a couple days to get a response. I'm here to address things of that nature, but I actually think most of the questions will go to Jez.
Okay, and I think between our video and the live stream, there's like an 8-second delay, so I'm not seeing any questions coming up just yet in the chat there, but I'm hoping. What is the? Well.
Well, here's something that we can talk about while you're waiting for a question, Liam. You had mentioned earlier that we brought on somebody from Command and Conquer. That's actually the 5th person from the old Command and Conquer 17-game power series in the gaming industry. I don't know how old anybody is here, or what age you were when you played it, or if you played it, but those are huge names. Some of them we can't quite release yet. They are under non-disclosure. Which is wearing out for each of them. But we have brought in basically 5 high-power game executives that have taken a series from absolutely nothing, scratch, to an absolute powerhouse before Command and Conquer cashed out. And we're very excited to have those guys on board. It is a huge plus for Conca to have them.
Okay, that's a great topic to highlight there, Kara. I've got some questions coming through. If we're ready to go with these.
Yep.
First one is from Candyman AVPMF. How will factions work?
Right.
Alliances.
I'll take that one, shall I? Yeah, basically the factions will play quite a large part in the game. There's still a lot of grey area around it, as we haven't sort of announced it, but there's a lot of things which are coming towards us. We have, not sure what I should mention, what I shouldn't, but faction versus faction is a big possibility. It's going to be all-out warfare.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we're focusing really closely on, because we know it's something that's really important to the player base, but it's something that obviously it's not going to roll out as a finished product straight away, and it's something that obviously we're going to grow and adapt as the game grows and as play continues. I mean, it's going to be something that we're constantly evolving. Would I be correct in saying that, Jez?
Yeah, that's pretty much spot on. Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look. Okay. Has a decision been made for the turret Steve posted?
The name, we've done a little. We offered out all the names, didn't we?
Yes.
I'm not quite sure if that's been.
Has the name been decided yet?
Yeah.
I actually think that's still kind of up for grabs.
I think it's names in the hat sort of job, isn't it? Really.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Angel Hammer, but that didn't seem to fly very well in our internal polling. So.
Okay, we've got another one from DRNO 2005. Can you guys give us an idea on the controls? How to control a fleet of ships, for example?
Yeah, at the moment we're looking at WASD. We will be allowing macros, so there is that part of it as well. And also we're going to be doing hotkeys. So you'll be able to customize the controls as for you. It's all, a lot of what we're doing is all personalization for you all. So, yeah, macros and WASD would be the standards.
Nice. There's another one. I think we did cover this last week, but I guess it's worth covering again. Someone's asking for the minimum computer requirements to play Oceans at War. Do we have that to hand, or?
I can address that, Jez, if you have an answer off the top of your head. Basically, Oceans at War is being developed inside of the Unity player. The Unity player, unlike Flash-based games that you may have played previously, is a server-side architecture. Flash is a client-side architecture. My machine right here, this thing, handles 90% of what comes in on a Flash-based game. Unity, we're going to pick up that overload on the server side and stream it to you. So your actual hardware in your machine could be a lot less, as long as you have a moderate bandwidth connection. You'll be fine. You'll be more than fine, and you'll have a very enjoyable game experience. And unfortunately, I have to say, you're not gonna get flash crash. Sorry.
I just want to add on to that as well.
I hate to let everybody down, but you just won't.
Yeah, I just want to add on to that as well. In the programming side of it, every little detail that's being made on the Unity game is being tested on I think it's a 7-year-old computer, is it? I think I might be right in that. It might need clarification.
It's an XP machine.
Yeah, it will be tested on an old machine to test the quality of.
Yes, sir.
Okay. There's a question here from Dread Monkey, and I think I'm safe in answering this. It says, will subs have to surface in a fight, and how long underwater? And I would say that at this time we haven't confirmed that. Is that correct? We haven't actually clarified or confirmed subsurface times and underwater, etc. We haven't gone. I don't think we've finalised those details yet, have we? Or
that's actually in the secret sauce.
Mm-hmm.
There are some things that we can't share.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it hasn't really come up as such. I think it's either Lyndon or Robert Zinnak is working closely on the numbers side of it, so maybe closer to sort of alpha, beta, people will be able to sort of see for themselves, and it'll be well documented then.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and there's another question from Dread Monkey. Question: will buildings rank up like ships, i.e. evolutions? I mean, our buildings will be. You will level up your buildings, as in you will upgrade them, and when you do that, they will change appearance through their upgrading. But they won't, in a sense, evolve like the ship evolutions. I think that covers that. Anything else you guys wanted to add in on that?
There's, I think we've seen 3-tier changes of evolutions of these ships, of the buildings, sorry. So I think there's going to be 3 different tiers. What those levels are still sort of to be determined.
Like, so we're talking like one graphic for a starting level, one graphic for a mid-level, and then the finalized graphic for the highest level.
That's it. Yeah.
I believe I've seen that also. Will there be items like? I don't want to. Ecolics 23. I don't want to say that on air because I feel that we'd be discussing other games too much. But all I can say is that there will be other items, and so we're actually looking at different systems entirely from what you're thinking there. We will have features in the game, and I don't really want to go into too much detail about them yet because I don't have permission to release them. But there will be unique strategy items, but at this time you'll have to wait and see until they're in the game. Okay, another one's sorry, I must have missed it. He's posted his question twice. How many land tiles in a base? Again, I don't think we've clarified that yet, have we? We haven't finalised that number.
Yeah, it's another thing that needs to be actually determined and worked out. I think we are doing one where as you or your base level up, you get extra land tiles. So it'll always stay current to your level, and there should be sufficient enough.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the strategy when it comes to base building and everything else, I mean, that's something that we're putting so much attention and focus on that when we actually set the number, it's going to be exact and it's going to be spot on. So, we'll just have to wait and see on that for the time being until we can actually. Until we're happy that it's actually balanced and the strategy level is exact, we won't finalise the number at this time. What type of weight limit are we looking for at? Sorry, what type of weight are we looking at for a 5-ship fleet? I guess he's talking about like a weight limit for 5 ships. What's your maximum weight you can have across those 5 ships? Like, for example, say you had some kind of ship bay. What would be your maximum ton limit?
Ooh.
It's tough to say because if we answer it, we're going to release some info. We're going to release some info regarding one aspect of the gameplay that we're not really ready to release right now.
Yeah, I think we should probably bookmark that for another Q&A session when more details have been released. And
yeah, because there's actually
the numbers are there, but they're not available.
There's something to do with your weight that's going to work differently in Oceans at War. From what you've seen in previous games, we've got something unique and something that's going to really, a lot of the balance in the game is going to revolve around this key factor. So at this time we can't actually bring you it, but all I can say is it's going to be good. It's very well thought out, and you're going to love it. Okay. Another one's asking how many tiles for base. Okay, when you're defending your base, how does your Iceland work? Can I just drive straight through it like it's a barrier, So what they're saying is, our base is set in an Arctic setting, and your land tiles are actually ice. They're saying can I just drive through the ice, and smash through it? And I'm assuming the answer to that is no, Jez. But
that's actually a cracking idea. I do quite like the idea of that. Just seeing one ship just coming through, slamming everything out of the way.
Yeah, like an icebreaker ship.
Yeah. Not at the moment, is what I'll say. I wouldn't rule it out, but I think it's very, very highly unlikely that you'll see something like this in.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen a snowplow hull design at this stage of development.
Okay, we've got one here from, I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce this right, but it's Jormungard R. I'm not sure if that's right. It says, how will we start the game? With some ships researched, or just with a already done fleet and research from scratch? So I guess he's asking what kind of hulls he's looking to start the game with.
Depending if you're a beta or an alpha member, I say beta loosely, it's about £50 pledge month. That will determine how many hulls you actually get to research at the very beginning. After the 6-month exclusivity period, you will be able to research most of the hulls that are out. I think it's actually all of them. Carty might have to. I think that's right.
Yeah, and obviously there's going to be a selection of hulls there for you to start researching straight away. I mean, if you're coming into the game in September, you're going to have a couple of small hulls ready available, and there'll be a couple of hulls to start researching probably at low cost straight away, and obviously some more end game hulls there too. It's not going to roll out with just a few hulls. You're going to have a nice selection there to sort of get stuck into.
Have we got a number on that? I think it's about 13, isn't it?
I think it was 13. This question or some question similar to this did come up in last week's Q&A session, and Steve, I'm pretty sure Steve did actually give out a pretty much exact number.
Yeah.
Okay, let's roll down. Okay, someone's asking how Oceans at War and Flash Player work, and I just wanted to clarify, we're actually going to be using Unity Player. We're not going to be using Flash Player. And Unity Player is more powerful, it's more safer, it's more smoother, it's a much better program than Flash. And you guys, the guys that are used to using Flash, you're going to love it. So the answer to that question is it won't work with Flash Player because we're not building it on Flash, we're building it in Unity.
I just want to add on to that as well. A lot of Flash players, you need to download the Adobe Flash Player 8 or something like that. Mm-hmm. We will be using Unity, which is from the Unity 3D website. There's actually no need to download it now. It's a bit like, I think one of the comparisons that one of the guys made was, you need some milk and some bread, so you buy the supermarket. When Oceans of War is actually released, you will be able to download the specific things that you need. There's actually not a great need to go and download the full Unity player now.
Yeah, and obviously, I imagine we're going to tighten, so when you click Oceans at War, it will prompt you to download Unity if you don't already have it installed.
Yeah.
So you won't need to find anything, you won't need to search for any links. We'll be doing it all for you. You just click a button.
But here's something, and I do, and not to harp on this point or to beat a dead horse, but the question of Flash comes up continually on the Ocean at War pages. And here's the difference. Once upon a time, way back when the internet was still new, there was a little program called Flash. And what Flash was designed to do was to add some sparkle to your web page. That is what Flash was originally built to do. Now, a couple of intelligent game designers got together, grabbed Flash when it was coming out of a bar, dragged it down an alley, and beat the hell out of it until it started acting like a game, which is still disputable. Unity is a completely different engine. It is built to play games. Flash is not built to play games. It's been made to play games. Unity is built that way. It's a completely different architecture. So, like I said, unfortunately, you will not have Flash crashes. And also, there's a lot of security that is built into having a server-side architecture versus Flash, which is a client-side architecture. It's two different animals.
And there you go.
That's all I had to say about that.
There's some nice clarification there. Heard it from the man himself. Okay, we have got a question here from Dragontooth. How is the base going to appear in the base builder view? An isometric diamond view or a level square view?
This is something we're still yet to work out. I know this because there's been quite a lot of discussion between the team on a few of our development meetings. I'm sure Carter can verify that. Truth is, at the moment, we're not quite sure. So, again, it's probably going to be something that's going to need to be broken up for a later date.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, we're just not sure which one's going to look better, is what you're saying, Jez.
Yes, yeah, we have two shapes in mind for the bases and the way the game's actually made, and both have pros, both have cons. So we're still deciding that at the moment.
Okay, let's have a look. Can we expect to have different forms of base defense, like towers, mines, etc.? To answer that, yep, we will be having many different forms of base defense. Yep, there'll be weapons and there'll be walls and everything else. It'll be very strategic, require thought and strategy, and you'll have to think. You'll have to use your brain. It will actually be an RTS that has strategy, so you'll enjoy that. Okay, question from Dread Monkey. He's fired a few at us this evening. Yeah. Will solo players be at a disadvantage versus factions? Specifically, since factions can join fleet versus fleet, will solo be able to join to help other solos? I guess what he's talking about is, for players that are in a big faction, obviously there is an audience of players that don't like factions and they don't like alliances and they'll play solo. And will they be at some kind of disadvantage against alliances? Will their game be hindered? I guess is what Dread Monkey's asking there.
All right, I'll grab that one. I think Jez has something going on there.
Yes.
Basically, if a fleet is on the sea, it is vulnerable to attack, and it can be vulnerable to attack from a couple different positions, and that's really not dependent upon if any of those attackers are in an alliance or not. Things are going to turn into a lot different combat-wise than you're probably used to in other games, because you're probably used to, a 1 versus 1 scenario, where in Oceans of War, it's going to be a many versus many scenario, and it doesn't matter what side you're on. There could be two people fighting each other. If you want to come in as the third faction and beat on both of them, I do believe that that's an option. Jez, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah, when there's fleet versus fleet going on, you will be able to get involved. The water's going to be a very treacherous place, shall we say.
Let's just think of many fleets from many players all going at it in one big, huge fight.
Correct.
Okay. Next question. So I guess this is a pretty good question, actually, because there has been some confusion on this. Quartz Eagle is asking, so will we be able to play directly from the website or Facebook?
I think the short answer is both.
Mm-hmm.
We will hopefully be on Facebook. Just got to wait for them to confirm that, I believe. I'm sure Carl will probably have a better idea than I will. Regarding our own website, yet we're very close to getting Conquer Studios up and running, the website. This should probably, hopefully, be in the next week or two tops. I know we were meant to have it sort of roughly finished by Monday, so it should be maybe later on in the week, to be a safe bet.
Yeah, we anticipate being on Facebook, our website directly. We're currently looking at perhaps Xbox Live and Steam, some other social media channels throughout the world, and then eventually at some point a mobile platform. So absolutely, Jess, you're right. It's going to be kind of take your choice, whatever works best for you.
Okay. If you guys are happy, I've got another question here from Candyman. He would like to know, or she would like to know, I apologize if I'm not sure if it's a he or she, would like to know what are the advantages of joining in alpha versus starting to play for the public release date in September?
Carter's worried at me because we had a brief discussion about this earlier, I think it's safe to say. Yeah, basically, alpha. You will be receiving many things. Little bonuses, little head starts here and there. We will be doing. Do you know what? My mind's gone blank actually.
Well, it's important. It's important to say that we won't like the players that join Alpha and Beta. They won't be receiving. They won't be receiving items that will make them more powerful than players that don't. Like the balance will still be there, but what they'll be getting is exclusive holes. A couple of exclusive prints. Access to maybe a hole that would come in a later raid. Or an event, they'll be getting certain perks and items that is fair enough for them to get because obviously they pledged, and obviously they'll be getting a gold amount to equal what they've pledged. Sorry, go on. You guys are welcome to.
No, you're exactly right, and that's a fair answer, Liam. I mean, basically, Ocean at War is developed as a crowdsourced game. We don't have major financial investors coming in demanding that we make X amount of profit off of this game or they're going to sell it. This game has been funded by players, and there are several hundred to several thousand players that have chipped in earlier. And will they have an advantage? Absolutely, they'll have an advantage. They will have some hulls, they will have some extra coin, etc. in the beginning. But when you look at the course of your typical microtransaction game, that goes on for years. And that initial advantage, it will balance out depending on time played and a lot of other conditions. I would say the main advantage of joining in alpha and beta is to cut down your learning curve on the and I think that is a much greater advantage than any hull here or some coin there. These players are already going to know how to fight, how to defend, how to build. And I really think that that's the advantage to alpha and beta. Yes, are there some other advantages? Absolutely, but in my mind, it's the learning curve. Jez, would you agree with me there?
I would definitely agree with the learning curve, especially alpha members. Some alpha members will know what we're doing in there regarding a coin test. I won't go into any more detail than that. But it'll be a case of a rerun of the game. They will all be reset after that. I'll make very, very clear. But they'll have the knowledge of, what works best for them. There is going to be a lot of ships. There's going to be a lot of tech. There's going to be a lot of fleet versus fleet. What they will have an advantage on is they will learn what fleet works. I'm not going to go into too much detail again, but you won't want to use a fleet of all of, 5 of the same ship or whatever our number we've decided on. It will not. You will need to mix them to make the right sort of, blend to get the best out of your fleets.
I think what Jez is saying is that you'd never find a modern Navy that put 5 aircraft carriers together with no escorts and no anti-submarine patrol with it. So it might be a little bit unusual to find 5 ships of the same exact type stacked up on top of each other. That is basically, you're compounding your strengths, but you're also compounding your weaknesses in that case. So there's going to be a lot more strategy involved, I think, is kind of what I don't know. Hopefully,
What you expect from an RTS, a lot of strategy. But going back to the advantage of time as well, obviously alpha, beta, they'll get a month on general release. And then what you've got to bear in mind, if you're joining general release, then you're going to have an advantage over someone that joins in December. You'll have a 2-month advantage. So is that 1-month advantage really that big in that sort of context? I mean, like Carter said, we're looking to, hopefully have Ocean at War running for very many years, and having sort of a 2-month or a 1-month disadvantage, as some players see it, it's okay, it's bad at the very beginning, but look, 3 years down the line, you'd have been playing here for 3 years compared to someone that's literally just joined. But again, I just want to add on to that, something that me and Carter talked about earlier, was the way the attack and the base, fleet versus base will work. If you're a new player and someone has 5 of the best ships, they will have to significantly lower their tech level to be able to actually hit your base. Mm-hmm. It will not be, Joe Bloggs has just joined, let's just steamroll their base. That will not happen in Ocean at War.
Yeah, because the fleet itself will actually be taking a level based around its armor, its weapons, its power, and that fleet will have a level. Regardless, if I'm level 50, I could build a level 60 fleet. I won't be allowed to attack a level 50 player with that fleet. And that's exactly how it's going to work. So, and what that does is that gives Oceans at War balance, because what that gives us is regardless of how anyone coins a fleet, regardless of if someone wants to go out there and spend a lot of money, then that's great, and they'll have a wonderful fleet, but they won't be able to go and run all over the players that don't. And that basically gives us a key focus balance point between players that want to coin and players that don't want to coin. Because there's a lot of players that they don't choose to coin a great deal, and that's fine. I mean, you play how you want to play, but what we don't want is a situation where you've got a game full of players that don't coin being picked on by a load of players that do. We want the game to be a fun experience for everyone, and we want to try and cater to everyone's needs. And that's a key focus point in Oceans at War.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, there's a question here from Smack It Betty, and I did want to answer this. Well, I'm not sure if this is something we've been thought about, but they're talking about launching fleets from the world map. So if you're in a world map, you can click a button and launch the fleet to the world map without having to go into your base. Is that something we've looked at? Because I actually don't know the answer to that. So I don't know if you guys want to fill me in as well on that.
I think, and don't quote me on this, I know I'm on video, I'm sorry, I think you will be able to.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, if it isn't something that we've yet to write down, I would definitely be pushing the guys to look at it, because I know myself from my own experience that would be a feature that would really benefit the game. So what I'll do, Smacky Bay, what I'll do is we'll double check, won't we, Jez? And I'll drop a message after the show and just clarify that to you in PM.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a look. Will destroyed bases have an indicator saying they are dead before you go and hit them to find out if it's destroyed inside?
This is where a couple of our ships actually come into it. Obviously, a lot of you have seen I think it's the X-15 Hydra and the X-20 Dart. Obviously, the Hydra is the first pledge ship for the players that have pledged £50 on the Ghost. You'll actually be able to spy on people's bases. It will appear on the minimap as a sort of faction membership if you're in a faction, or just a rogue one. It'll be quite difficult to spot. there will be a tech level inside the base, which we may be able to spot it a little bit later on in the game's development, or as you progress. But you will actually be able to see the other person's base, get a good indication of what you're up against before you actually go in and attack. So, yes, basically you will be able to have a look.
So I can see Steve's also in the chat here, and he's getting to a lot of these questions. So what I'll do, guys, for the guys in the chat is I'll just scroll down to the bottom because I can see where Steve's answering questions before we've got to them on a couple of them. So what I'll try and do is get down to the bottom.
He's the boss and he's fast.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. But what I'll do is I'll scroll down to the bottom so we can try and get to these newer questions. So basically we're not answering the same questions twice because I know there is a slight delay between live and the chat there as to how they're watching it on YouTube. Okay. There's no questions. I was just scrolled to the bottom. There's no questions there, so I'm scrolling back up. 1 second.
So should we ad lib?
By subtitles below.
Probably.
Okay. There's another question here from Roger X, and I think it's a good question to clarify. Guys, how is donations working? For example, if I donate 10, then another 10, and so on to 100. Do I get to keep the $10 stuff? Basically, I guess what he's asking is, if he donates $10 and then comes back a week later and donates another $10, does it add up? Does he eventually, So yeah, and I would think that the answer would be, of course.
It's all stackable. As long as we've got the email address that you've logged onto. If you wanted to actually join the forums yourself, you can send myself a message. My name on the forum is Raver, R-A-V-E-R. Send me a message. I will be able to verify your payments being received, and then we will get you your founder status.
Mm-hmm.
And that also goes for everyone that's already pledged as well. I think we went through the numbers yesterday. We had 300 founders on the forums, and I think over 800 people have pledged. There's about 500 of you out there that have pledged and haven't yet received your founder status on the forum. So, yeah, definitely add me or send me a message, and I'll get that done for you.
Yeah, and same. You can feel free if anyone is having issues with that. You can also PM me, and as well as Jez, and we'll try and do our best to get that sorted out for you straight away. Are these shows going to continue so we can talk to you? Sorry for shouting. No, that's fine. Yeah, we are going to be doing weekly shows. I think we're really focused on our customers. We're really focused on our player base. We want to be here communicating with you and showing you that we're here to help. We're here to answer your questions, and we're here to try and give you the best experience we can in our game. So yes, these live Q&A sessions, they're going to continue, and then when we go up into alpha, and alpha's open, I'm actually going to be streaming on Twitch. You guys, the guys that are in the Twitch chat right now using the Twitch chat, I'm going to be streaming some live, Let's Play Oceans at War kind of videos. I'll also be doing strategy videos. So we'll do like some base design videos and some fleet design videos, and how whenever there's a new item released, there'll be a video up. So we're gonna basically make it as easy and as straightforward as possible for you. And these live Q&A sessions, they're going to continue, and we're going to maybe rotate in different staff every week, and maybe we'll bring in someone else there. We'll bring in a graphic designer next week, and yeah. So overall, every week these shows are going to be here. Okay, will there be events and public test servers for them before events? Now, I guess what this player Total Freak number 1 is saying is. When we get to a stage where we're having monthly events or monthly raids, or we're actually not going to be having monthly events, are we? I think that was something that was clarified.
We're going to be having a lot of events, monthly events. It's the holds which are being released every sort of 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
So there will still be quite a lot of missions and things that you can do. I mean, the amount of gameplay we've got planned for you guys it's on a whole new level. There's so much planned.
And bear in mind, we're going to be alpha in July, and then we're going to be pre-beta in August, and then we're going to be open beta in September. Now, open beta, it means that the game is still in beta phase, and it means that beta phase basically means that we're going to be constantly adding to the game, updating the game, and the game will evolve and it will grow and it will expand and we'll add in new content and the game will just continuously be improved. We'll be continually monitoring the game and improving the gameplay and adding in new elements to the game. So yeah, it's going to be we're going to try and give you as much as we can on the release, and then we're going to and then slowly, as it is released, we're going to be balance improving and content improving and bringing you new features and new cool gameplay, and it will just be a continuous thing. It will be a continuous evolution.
As I understand it, there will be a monthly event, but that will not be always a whole drop event. We might release hulls maybe 3 to 4 times per year, so that over the course of those monthly events, if you're a newer player, or if you don't have time, to really concentrate, maybe you're on vacation for an event, you can stack up those points, and it'll work in a store-like system. And you'll have time to get that hull and to begin building, or to have that fleet in the water in a reasonable amount of time, without it costing just an absolute fortune, as you might have experienced in some other typical microtransaction games. Just because we're going to release those hulls on a very scheduled release, and and that's part of the balance that we've been going for from the beginning with Ocean at War, and it's something that Steve has insisted on from the beginning.
Okay, there's a question here which has come from a page, the MMO page. So someone is asking, will you be able to set a base defense fleet to a point? Basically, I guess we can actually answer a few questions here, because firstly, are we having base defense fleets? That could be a first part of that question, and then secondly, he's talking about rally points, I assume. So say, for example, you do have a base guardian fleet. Can you set rally points so that these fleets will drive to a set position and stay there? I'm assuming that's the question.
Or sort of waypoints, so they go around the base or defending it like such.
Well, I don't know if you've experienced it. There in some other games, if you have something guarding your base and you set a patrol range on its move, then when an attacker comes in, it will actually move around. It will move back. And I guess what he's asking is, would it move to a certain point and then stop, as opposed to just? I guess he's asking for more controllability over a base patrol fleet.
In all honesty, I don't actually know. Are we actually having base patrol?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's.
I'm not too sure if we are or not.
I'm not even sure if we.
I'm sure Steve's in the chat typing away, capital letters for lot. So if he is, I do apologise, Steve.
Yeah, Steve, if you could, Steve is in the chat. I can see him there. If you could clarify that, Steve, on that question, because I'm not even sure myself on that. It hasn't actually come up. So okay.
Got to wait 8 seconds now for the delay.
Yeah, no, there is a delay. Let me see if I can get to another question. Okay, a player here is asking, will we have like test servers, like a separate server where we can bring players in and let them toy around with pre-released equipment and give us ideas and snowball ideas and see if let the players help us in adjusting the tech. I guess they're asking if we're going to have test servers open to the public.
I'm not sure if we're having ones which are open to the public. There may be a case where we do to feed it in slowly, but a lot of it's going to be there's going to be sort of a separate, unachievable area for normal players where the staff will go and we'll be able to test certain products, see how it all works, work out the balance, see if it's too powered, underpowered. Everything's an adjustment, and at this early stage, especially with new tech coming in later on in the game, it will all need to be tested.
Yeah, and I mean, I think if we are at a stage where we want like a focus group to test some equipment out before we put it into the game, that will probably be something that would come much later down the line anyway. That's probably not going to be something we're looking at initially to start off with. So, yeah, I mean, if it is something that we're going to look at, it's not going to be something we're going to look at anytime soon. It would be a good answer also. Was that right, Jez?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Also, your videos. They have to get a lot of information from that as well. So tune in.
Okay. Okay. Someone's asking a question. I guess he's. We can look at there's quite a broad spectrum of games that actually run kind of like a reward system in game, like medals or in-game icons, and they're curious if that's something that we're going to be implementing in Oceans at War. For example, like you hit a player's base. Say you start the game with 100 medals, and you hit a player's base, you can win 20 medals, and if you lose in a player's base, you lose medals, and it's kind of like a bragging right in-game item.
I'm not 100% sure myself, actually. I don't know if Carter or Liam's heard something else. I actually not 100% sure on that. Probably say again, which will update.
I would beg to table that question and we'll get back to it. There's been some discussion around it, but no definite decision. There's pros and cons to how that's done, and keep in mind that Jez and I aren't on the game design team. We have some information, but there is some things that they've held back just to keep it new, to keep it fresh for everybody. And we're not privy to 100% of everything. So I think that would be a great question to put on hold for maybe when you have Lyndon here, Liam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no problem. We were hoping to get Lyndon in tonight because Lyndon is the developer that's working on a lot of the holes and the weapons and that side of the strategy system. But
isn't he?
Mm-hmm. He was busy tonight and couldn't make it. Lyndon, we want you here next week.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll try to get Steve to let him out.
Okay. One person is asking here. One thing they would like to see is a specific name for each fleet. So when they're at sea, you can identify them easier by their names. I guess they're asking, can you name a fleet? Can you give a fleet a name? And then when you're out in the world map, you can identify it by that name.
I don't know if we have that structure in place right now, but if it's not, it will be a key.
It's a pretty standard RTS ability, and it's something that's going to no doubt be on our roadmap if it isn't already. Will we be limited? This is a question from Orkman Conker.
Hello. Hi, Lyndon.
That's Lyndon.
Is that Lyndon? No, sorry. I've read that wrong. He's answering someone there. Lyndon.
Oh, right.
Lyndon's in the chat. Lyndon, get your on here.
Get your stuff together.
Yeah, you got Lyndon and Steve in the chat. They should be sat here in the hot seat. Right. Let's go. Insane Professional. Will alliances have more than one officer? This is a point I've seen brought up a few times. Many games that run alliance features, they only allow you to have one person in charge, which is really annoying because if a player's offline or if something happens to that player, no one can do anything with the alliance. So what he's asking is, will our faction system allow you to have, say, a leader and then a few people set as officers, so they can also control like the rights of the alliance, and that's I guess what Insane Professional's question is there, Jez.
I think the best answer would be to join the forums. There is already a feature like that in place, where you can actually have, I think it's a minimum of 2 admins, and then officers will be on there at a later date maybe. But yeah, we're definitely already implementing that.
Okay. I don't know if you guys want to take a moment here to clarify on something, because obviously we know that this is something that's coming up time and time again right now. And there's a lot of confusion around it, and I don't know, Jez or Carter, which one of you would feel free to answer this best. Someone's discussing about the 3D pledges and the 3D ships and the 2D versions. So I don't know if you just want to take a little 5 minutes here just to discuss the whole 3D, 2D stuff. So just to clarify it on air, so players actually hopefully finally understand the whole confusion around that.
I believe Jed that's right in his wheelhouse, not mine.
Yeah, bear with me 1 second, sorry. I'm just going to get a little table up because I've already got one prepared.
Awesome.
Right, let me just figure this out here somewhere. Right, there's a screen share option, is there somewhere? There you go. Right, so I don't know if you guys can see that. Is that up yet?
Yeah, 1 second. I'll just highlight your screen so it's now fixed on your screen so everyone can see your screen.
Right, no problem. Right, so at the moment, if I look over here, this is the pledge currency. This is in GBP, which is obviously the UK pound. Then you've got the American dollar. Okay, so they obviously vary in the amounts just there. So Genesis ships. These are still yet to change. I'm sorry about that. This one's been confirmed as the Hydra, which is the Scout. The Destroyer isn't yet on there. I think Lyndon may need to verify that at a later date. I'll definitely sort of change something around it. Over this one here, right, this is the 3D game. So these are the 4 ships that you'll be getting in 3D. You'll obviously receive founder status on all of them. And then this is your bit over here regarding beta priority and alpha. This doesn't just work purely for the 2D, but it's also for the 3D game as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't know if you wanted to just, Jazz, if you wanted to just slightly cover the because this, I think that this is the whole 3D and 2D stuff is some players are getting that confused, and I don't know if it's worth just going into detail of the 3D project and how we started and now what we're doing with the 2D. Because I think some players are still confused on that issue. So I think if we can just finally get that on air, then we can refer to that in future for players that are asking those questions.
Right, that's no problem. Yeah. How do I turn off screen share?
You just click it again, and I'll unselect you now. So
there you go. How's that?
No probs.
Yeah. Right. Oh, yeah. That's enough everything. Right,
yeah, I mean, originally, I know some of this as well because I was on board from I was in that focus group from day one. Originally we had a vision of a 3D game, and obviously that vision is still there. But Oceans at War, our original plan for Oceans at War was a 3D game. It's hard to I'm trying to give you an example of something what would be similar like. Jess, should I pass over to you there? You're probably going to be able to ace this much better than me.
Yeah, no problem. So basically, at the beginning, we all wanted a 3D game. Due to it sounds bad, the amount of money to go into making the 3D game for a startup company is quite frankly astronomical. It's a lot of money. We were finding ourselves pushing back release dates, pushing back demo dates, just pushing the whole project back because it was taking so much money and time and effort to sort of get there. So what we done was we decided to bring out a 2D game. This was announced, I think it was May the 9th was the big release and announcement. So most of the talk that you see on the MMO page will all be about 2D Genesis, which is the name of it, Open War Genesis. There is a story link. The 2D game will still run when the 3D game is released. The 3D game is not on hold, it's still being developed, but again, time and money is a massive issue with it. So, sort of try and clarify, we brought out the 2D game because that's what players wanted. Mm-hmm. A lot of players may have played similar sort of 2D isometric games, and maybe a 3D game was sort of for hardcore gamers, people that are really, focused on what it is. Also, the PC requirements of it were very, very high because we expect perfection as a company. That's what we stand for. Perfection is what we want, and having a 3D game made on the cheap would be far from perfection. Far from perfection. So, at the moment, it's still going ahead. There's no doubts about that, but we are focusing on Genesis at the moment.
Yeah. So just to clarify, the 3D project is still coming. We're still working on that. We still have people working on that, and we have 2 games being developed simultaneously. the 2D Genesis project is coming out first, and we'll be looking to launch the 3D much for a little further down the line, possibly a year. Depends on the production. So hopefully, I'm hoping that's going to clear that issue up for a lot of the players that seem to still be asking questions regarding that. We've been running now. We're just coming up to an hour. I guess we'll do one more. We'll do one more question. I'll try and find a good one for you, a really difficult one. All right.
No.
This one, it sounds like it's going to you, Carter. This one.
Easy question.
What's her name?
Okay. Okay. The thing is, I'm seeing a lot of questions that we have already covered. So for some of the people that, we'll definitely get to more questions in the YouTube. Any questions you feel are unanswered, do feel free to put them in the comments of YouTube, or come and ask us on the MMO page, or message us in the forum, or message us personally, and we'll do our best to answer them. Because obviously a lot of questions have already been answered that some people may have come in a little bit later to watch the Hangout.
I think I'd just like to add on to that as well. I see a lot of posts on a daily basis on the MMO page asking Steve directly. Everyone loves Steve. He's brilliant. His hat's even better, let's face it. But he's a very, very busy man. He comes in, he does a lot of work on the MMO page when he can. If you have any issues or questions regarding anything to do with Ocean War Genesis, anything to do with pledging, you can always click on the pin post at the top, and it has a list of all the moderators and all the staff members. And they're all little hyperlinks, so you can just click on it. It'll go to our Facebook profiles, and you actually ask us directly. That too will sort of avoid sometimes a sort of bit of negative feedback when it's sometimes put on the page. A lot of members will jump on that and sort of try and get involved. If you want to avoid all of that or whatever, just message me personally. My name's Jez Veitch, and just direct it all to me.
Okay, so I've got the final question for you, Carter. It's not too difficult. And this is from Total Freak number 1. Would the 2D players be able to transfer everything to 3D once 3D comes out? Ships, stats, etc.
As far as I know, no. And keep in mind, I'm not on the development team, but as far as I understand the ramifications of that, we're talking about releasing a new game in a year from now, and you want to bring over everything from your old game to the new game. Well, what about the people that just started playing the new game? And we're a company that's about game balance. That really kind of throws those scales kind of ridiculously sideways towards the old player, and we wouldn't want to do that in a new game, because we've said time and time again, and I know Jez will agree with me, I know Steve will agree with me, I know Lyndon will agree with me, I know every staff member will agree with me. We want to bring some equity and some fairness back to gaming, and moving things from one game to another is going to completely skew that. So I personally don't see that happen. Could Steve overrule me on that? Absolutely, of course, he's the boss. Things could happen, but I really don't see it going that way. Jez, would you agree?
I know as well. Regarding fleets, the 3D game will just be a one chip.
Yeah, bear in mind, guys, what you're actually talking about is you're talking about two separate games set in a totally different timeline. Like the 3D game isn't a 3D version of the 2D game. It's two different games set on a similar storyline, but on a far distant time apart. I don't want to obviously go into too much details about it, but you're talking about two different games. So would you be able to take all the details you've just spent 2 years in a game and then take that into a next game? Would you be able to do that in any other game? Of course not. So. It's a valid question, of course, but as far as I know, definitely not. It's something I've heard thrown around. So this is a
good question, but it's not going to happen to the best of my knowledge.
This is another good question. I feel it's a great question to end the show on. this is something that Conquer, I think, holds dearest to us. This is our main focus for all is our customers. And Jeff Newburn is asking, how will customer service work? And I guess he's assuming he's meaning customer support, etc.
Did you want to take the field on this one, Carter?
Actually, Jez and I kind of have some commonality in that between the mods and the community managers, but you know, and the service that they provide on the forums and in the game, and just as far as being your advocates as players with the company. That also translates down into the help desk side. And if you're talking particularly about support, yes, not only are we attempting to build a world-class game, we also want to build in tools and processes to also provide world-class service. I think a lot of the times, and I'm sure many of you would agree with me, especially in microtransaction games, you're treated like a number. You put in a service ticket, and you know, God knows, maybe somebody will answer it eventually. We're not going to be like that. You know, if people are giving us their time to play our game, they are our customers, and they deserve to be treated as such. So we have a very nice help desk in place to support them. We have service levels that I don't want to release yet, but they will be coming fairly soon. But I would say at the outside, 24 hours, you will hear back from a live person if you have an issue. Now, at the beginning of the game, when we have some peak things going on, we might have a little stretch there. But, you know, as the game goes on and things start to stabilize and standardize, I think that a 24-hour turnaround is certainly respectable, and I hope you do too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and again, guys, I think that's going to be the last question for us, because I've had Carter and Jez here in the hot seat now for close to an hour. But yeah, I mean, we really enjoy these live Q&A sessions, and thanks to all for coming out and taking part in the show. We got up to 100 viewers there, live viewers, which was wonderful, and that number can keep growing. We've had some great questions. We've had Steve and Lyndon and Lucy is moderating the chat. They've done a fantastic job. And yeah, I mean, guys, you know, I know we did talk about the video. I'm sorry we can't put the video out this week. We didn't have any sneak pictures prepared, but I know Steve's got a couple that he's ready to post up in the MMO for you, so you guys can get them there. Really, we just wanted to focus on answering questions tonight, answering questions of the players, and you know, making sure that you guys were content and happy. There's a lot going on right now. There's the changeover on the website coming this week. We're going to be putting together a video of the gameplay footage for you. So it's going to be a busy week for us, and you may see a midweek video from me and some of the guys here. So stay tuned for that, and keep following the MMO page, the forums, and the app page, because they will be posted there. I'll try and give you guys as much notice as possible. And Jez and Carter, thanks so much for taking the time to come out tonight.
No problem, man.
I know it's not easy when all these questions are coming, and you guys did a great job. Is there anything else you guys wanted to add in?
I think, again, Carter hit on the quality product that we want to construct and the world-class customer service as well. I know a lot of people have issues with security. I want to tell you all that our security measures will be very good, shall we say. Yeah, it will not be a little hack game that people may be used to. It will be spot on, best way to put it. And also, I just want to say that all my moderators that sit there and do strenuous hours, answering the same questions constantly every day, they're all doing an absolutely amazing job. You know, I just want to thank them all for, you know, making my job 10 times easier than it is. You know, they really are a massive help to me. So thank you, guys.
Have you hugged your moderator today?
Yeah, we do. We do have a fantastic team to put together, and the mods and everyone are doing such a great job. So yeah, big thanks out to them. And again, guys, as I say, if there's any questions that you want answered that we haven't answered in tonight's show, feel free to comment on the YouTube video itself. We will be scrolling it every now and again. If not, drop us a PM, come in the MMO page, and we're there to answer your questions. And again, thanks for coming out this week, and we will see you midweek, if not next weekend.
Good night, everybody.
Hey guys. Good night.
Good night.